Welcome to Mind Shield. We protect the mind and pursue the truth. Let's get started.
Welcome to Mind Shield Academy. Today, we're building a guide for something that can feel, well, impossible, proving the unprovable. We're going to tackle some really complex security challenges, and it all starts with one powerful idea.
You heard it right there. A perfect crime is just one with no paper trail. So today, we're building the trail. We're going to talk about one of the absolute hardest things to do, proving something is happening when the evidence is literally designed to be invisible. So many of these cases, they just don't have that single definitive piece of proof.
And that's the big question, right? What do you do if you don't have that smoking gun? Without it, it can feel hopeless. But here's the secret. That's not how most complex investigations are won. No way. They aren't built on a single event. They're built on a pattern.
So we have to completely shift our thinking here. We're not hunting for a magic bullet. We're building a system of proof, piece by piece. And in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to build that system using what we call the evidence ladder.
All right, let's dive right in. The foundation. These first two rungs are the absolute base of your entire case. And the best part is, you can start building them right now.
The first rung, and honestly the most crucial piece of evidence you can create, is a detailed, disciplined log. Contemporaneous is the magic word here. It just means you write it down at the time of the event, or as close to it as humanly possible. This isn't a diary for your feelings, okay? Think of it as your primary field notebook. It is your cornerstone.
And to get what we call a prosecutor-grade log, you need this level of detail. Every entry gets treated like a crime scene note. You need the date, time, and your exact location, down to the room you're in, even your posture. What specific sensations or symptoms are you feeling? How long did the event last? What's the context? What devices are on? Any vehicles nearby? Was anyone else there? If you happen to have a meter, get those RF or EM readings. And this is so important. Keep your language calm and factual. You're documenting observations, not theories. That discipline is what builds real credibility.
So, you've got your detailed log going. The next rung up is artifacts. This is where you attach physical, tangible proof to the events you're logging. Think of it this way. Each artifact is a dot, and your log is what connects them into a picture.
Artifacts are what make your log verifiable. For example, a log entry that says, "My Wi-Fi was acting strange," becomes 100 times stronger when you have a router log showing an unknown device connecting at that exact time. An entry about car trouble gets backed up by an invoice from a mechanic who says they can't explain the failure. This is how you start turning individual stories into a real pattern supported by evidence.
Okay, time to climb higher. Now that you have a personal record, the next step is getting some powerful, independent validation for it.
Corroboration is a huge step up the ladder. It moves your evidence from the world of, "this is what I experienced," to, "this is what other people saw," or what other systems recorded. It's that external proof that lines up with your internal record.
And here's a super simple but really powerful way to get credibility. If a friend is with you when something strange happens, don't just talk about it. Ask them to write down exactly what they observed, right then and there. Have them sign it and date it. You preserve that original document. I'm telling you, that formal statement is so much more powerful than just saying, "my friend saw it too." And hey, think beyond just people. Systems can be your witnesses too. Did you log a weird network outage at 3 a.m.? Your internet service provider's official outage records for that night are a perfect form of corroboration. Did a shared document get accessed at a strange time? The timestamp from that online service? That's independent proof.
All right, we're climbing to the upper rungs of the ladder now. We've built a solid foundation with our own records and some third-party corroboration. Now it's time to add specialized data and professional analysis.
This brings us to rung 4, technical context. This is where we move from simple observation into capturing measurable, technical evidence. We're talking about using scientifically validated instruments to understand what's happening in your environment at a physical level, stuff you can't normally see or hear.
So, what are we talking about sourcing? Things like router logs showing unknown devices connecting. Readings from a spectrum analyzer that show anomalous RF signals. The results from security scans on your devices. Digital forensics reports on hardware you think has been compromised. Even GPS logs showing weird location spoofing. But the key here is pattern analysis. You're not just taking one measurement. You are logging this technical data over time. You have to establish a normal baseline for your environment. Then you can capture the deviations, the weird signals or unknown connections that line up with the incidents in your logbook. That correlation is powerful stuff. This is it, the capstone of your ladder. You have done all the hard work of disciplined documentation. Now, you bring your entire evidence package, your logs, your artifacts, your corroboration, all that technical data, to a qualified professional for an evaluation. So who are these experts? Could be certified electronics engineers or TSCM professionals, digital forensics investigators, attorneys who specialize in surveillance or harassment cases, even medical professionals to document physical symptoms, or RF specialist consultants. These are the people who can look at the entire pattern you've built and provide a credible, professional analysis. They can write a report that adds a massive layer of credibility and helps you figure out your lawful next steps.
Okay, we've built the ladder rung by rung, but a ladder is only as strong as its weakest point, right? So let's talk about the common mistakes that can cause the whole thing to just collapse.
Look, on the left, you've got the disciplined, systematic approach we've been building. Ladder builders stick to facts, they preserve originals, they use calm language, and they document systematically. On the right, these are the pitfalls that will destroy your credibility. Mixing your grand theories in with your factual observations in your log, altering evidence, making public accusations without proof, these things will completely undermine your case and make it incredibly easy for others to dismiss your concerns.
And I cannot stress this enough. Every single step of this process must be legal and safe. You are here to document your life, not ruin it. That means no hacking, no illegal surveillance, and absolutely no retaliation. The goal is to build a case file, not to ruin your life or break the law in the process. So what are you left with after all this? A coherent dossier. You've taken a whole collection of chaotic, stressful, and seemingly disconnected events, and you've structured them into a record that can actually be investigated. It's no longer just a story, it's a body of evidence that a court, an investigator, or a regulator can't just wave away.
Building this evidence ladder is your best offensive weapon, for sure, but a strong, proactive defense is just as important to your safety and your security.
So please, join us for our next explainer. We're going to cover the essential steps of what we call digital hygiene. How to stop bleeding data without having to turn your life into a bunker. Thanks for tuning in.